Thanks, Jonathan. Martin O'Neill takes charge of Celtic in Europe for the 54th time as they look to build on the victory over Sturm Graz, and indeed the 2 wins in the last 2 games under O'Neill and Sean Maloney. 5 points behind this evening's opponents at the start of play, with Midtjylland 3 wins from 3 at the start of this Europa League campaign. Let me just recap the 2 teams for you. Celtic have made a couple of changes from the weekend victory over Rangers in the League Cup semi-final, with Tierney and Forrest starting in place of Sirachi and Maida. It's Kasper Schmeichel in goal, Anthony Ralston, Austin Trusty, Liam Scales and Kieran Tierney at the back. Callum McGregor, Arne Engels and Benjamin Nygren in the midfield. James Forrest on the right, Sebastian Tenekti on the left, and Johnny Kenny through the middle for the visitors. For Midtjylland, it's Olofsson in goal. A back 3, we think, although we'll just keep an eye on how they line up exactly. But it's Lee, Erlitz and Beck at the back, with Mbabu and Gogorsa on the flanks. Bravo and Billing, the central midfielders. Osorio and Cho ahead of them, and Francolino leading the line for the Danes, who have been in pretty formidable form this season, having dispatched Hibs early on in the campaign in Europa League qualifying second round. They've lost only once since then. That was in the league against North Shalland, and they are unbeaten at home since March. So Celtic's task out in Denmark is not a straightforward one, as they look to get back-to-back Europa League wins and really begin to try and climb that table and ensure qualification. The teams are just about ready to get underway out in Midtjylland. Celtic in their huddle right now, and a final words from the captain Callum McGregor, who rifled in that all-important second goal in extra time at Hampden on Sunday to ensure, or help ensure, that victory over Rangers. Midtjylland themselves into a huddle of their own. They're in red and black stripes for this one. Celtic in their traditional green and white hoops, as we prepare to get underway at the Herning Arena. The referee is Serbian Nenad Minakovic, just checking that there's a bit of smoke from some pyro, no doubt, in the stadium is just lingering, but the referee's happy that there's good enough visibility, or perhaps not, because he's going across to talk to Callum McGregor about something, maybe just delaying slightly until that smoke lifts. It'll be Midtjylland to get us underway, with Francolino, the striker who's got 17 goals in 24 games this season, about to roll the ball back here as the referee just makes one final check with his officials at the side of the park. Check of the watch, and we're underway. Minute and a half late or thereabouts, but Midtjylland do get us underway, and immediately the ball is played forward and headed away by Liam Scales, picked up by Tunekti over on the far side, the Celtic left, and he'll drive forward. One of the real bright lights for Celtic this season since coming in the transfer window, and he's through a couple of challenges into the penalty area, lays it back here, and the shot comes in from the edge of the box, and it's well taken by Elias Olofsson as Arne Engels hit that with the right foot from about 20 yards. Decent strike, Packy, but straight to the keeper.
Yeah, good confidence builder though at the start. Obviously Necti picking it up down that left hand side and driving forward, using good footwork and setting up on the Engels at the edge of the box, and he hit it well, hit it on target. That'll give him also confidence, and that, so yeah, decent enough start from Celtic.
Trusty just turns it back to Kasper Schmeichel, who launches it up towards the halfway line looking for Tenekti. Doesn't quite get control on it, but McGregor picks up and plays it out to his left to Tierney. Goes back the way again to Schmeichel inside his own 6-yard box. The Dane back in his homeland, of course.
He just miskicked that, actually. Ball came back to him. I don't think they'll take many chances building the game from the back, but that time he tried to. I don't think he tried to do what he did, and ended up he got away with it. But just looking at Midtjylland, also they're playing a 4.
Yeah, it does look like a 4, doesn't it?
Yeah, 4-3-3, and they're pushing the 3 front players really high up against Celtic. So I would expect Celtic to bypass that press and play it up, and Johnny Kenny will have a real role to play if he's the target man.
Yeah, they've largely played a 3 at the back since Mike Tulberg took over from Thomas Berg, who got his jotters despite having guided Midtjylland into the Europa League proper and having been unbeaten at the start of the season, so slightly unfortunate to be sacked. But Mike Tulberg, who spent a few games, a few months on loan at Hearts many years ago, he's come in and, as I say, has largely played a 3 at the back, but reverted to the 4 tonight, as Packy says, as Callum McGregor now picks up in the middle of the park. He was dragged back, was he there, by Francolino. The referee didn't see anything wrong with it, and Midtjylland allowed to advance here, and the shot's just over the top from Osorio, the forward player, onto that left foot, which we saw against Hibs is so dangerous. Just couldn't keep it down, but Celtic caught in possession there. Packy, I was expecting the referee's whistle to blow, but I think McGregor actually
he got a little
stumbled,
nudge. He got a little nudge, but he kind of almost lost his balance and fell over and allowed Midtjylland to break forward, and it was a good strike by Osorio. But it came from Celtic actually trying to build up from Schmeichel through midfield, and I'm sure Martin O'Neill will that's not his game really, and he may point to him and say, listen, don't take chances like that, because you put the player under pressure, like Callum McGregor. He is a good player, we know he can get on the ball, but when you play into the hands of the opposition who are pressing you high, then he will be saying, don't do that.
Midtjylland in possession through Gogorza, who's playing on that left-hand side, but not as a wing-back, as initially thought it would be, more as a left midfielder. As Celtic pick up possession, or at least they knock it out of play over on the far side, and Martin O'Neill just standing at the edge of his technical area, pretty composed at the moment. He does
one of those retro tracksuits today he's on.
It's very, very retro, isn't it? But he's sporting it well as the ball goes back to Olofsson in his 6-yard box up towards the halfway line. Poor control, and Forrest can pick up here on the Celtic right. Nygren makes the run ahead of him just outside the penalty area, but he just slashes at the ball and makes a real hash of trying to get that into the area, and it's gathered by Elias Olofsson, who has been first choice. He actually came on at Easter Road in the 119th minute. It looked like he was being brought on for penalties with the scores level, and then Junior Bramado came up with a quite stunning overhead kick to win it for Midtjylland, and as it turned out, Olofsson was only required to play that 1 minute, and that was it. But he's kept his place since, and he is the man in goal tonight for the Danes, who are looking to make it 4 from 4 in the Europa League and really make a mark on the competition. Celtic pick up though, and it's back to Kasper Schmeichel, 118 caps for his country.
He's doing it again. He's building through the midfield, which is interesting.
It's back with Trusty on the left foot. He clips it forward, nodded down by Lee. Comes off the referee, but Celtic still in possession and allowed to continue as Tierney plays it out to that left-hand side to Tenekti. Running it, the Midtjylland backline. He's ghosting past one challenge. Across comes Mbabu to help out, and Midtjylland win it back. But Tenekti looks in the mood, but here come Midtjylland on the counter, and it's Osorio into the penalty area. He's going to go himself, and across comes Trusty to make the block. It falls for Francolino. Francolino on the left foot, and that's not far off target, but behind for a goal kick once more. Well, Midtjylland finding a couple of gaps early on, in that Celtic backline. They were too easily opened up there, Packy, and but for a good bit of defending in the end from Trusty and a couple of wayward bits of finishing, they could be behind 0-0.
Yeah, listen, Tierney got caught up the pitch, of course, was Tunekti had the ball, and you know, he's got to just take a better care of it. He goes, listen, he's trying to do the right thing, taking people on, but then Tierney has made a run forward, left his left back position, and they end up exploiting it really quickly. Somebody's got to get around and cover that area. I think it's got to be Colin McGregor's role.
Here come Midtjylland once more. Little back heel from Francolino, almost comes off on the edge of the box. I think it was Billing who was up with him. Here they come once more. Francolino at the tight angle into the side netting. Well, he's had 2 or 3 efforts in these early stages yet to hit the target, but certainly Midtjylland look to be playing with lots of confidence, which I guess will come with the kind of streak that they've been on of late.
Yeah, listen, they've got those 3 players up front. They're exciting players. They were creative that time. Francolino trying to a little back pass, good inventive play. Nearly came off, only Scales made a really good intervention, but eventually they had another opportunity that he hit the side net. And so, yeah, listen, there will be a handful, and Celtic have got to be really strong and organised defensively.
Celtic throw in midway inside their own half, taken by Ralston into Forrest, who's bundled to the ground there by Mads Beck, the Midtjylland captain. Celtic will have the free kick pretty much midway inside their own half. It'll be taken by Ralston. Looking for options. McGregor offers himself short. Ralston in 2 or 3 minds, eventually plays it forward for Kenny. Kenny tries to bring it under control, but he's robbed by Billing, and Midtjylland can start another attack here, crossing the halfway line. And out to Mbabu, former Rangers man, albeit he didn't ever feature for them on loan from Newcastle. And Midtjylland are going to get a corner here. Just comes off Forrest, and behind for that corner kick on the left hand side. 8 minutes in, Midtjylland 0, Celtic 0 in the Europa League, but Midtjylland certainly having the better of these early exchanges.
And this is a test for Celtic now. The set piece, we know how prolific they are. They set up really well, and they've got their own, I think they were one of the first to have their own set piece coach, so you can see they're crowding in on top of Schmeichel.
Referee having a word with Lee and Beck inside that 6-yard box, just making sure they know what they're allowed to do and what they're not.
Yeah, 5-6 players all inside the 6-yard box.
And it comes from the left hand side, clipped it to the edge of the 6. It's headed away by Ralston, helped on by Forrest, and Celtic can try and find a counter of their own here, but a good intervention by Lee at the back, and Midtjylland pick up once more. It's Gagorsa out on the left hand side, comes in field. It's Mbabu who's going to go for goal, straight into the gloves of Schmeichel, who holds it well. It was fiercely hit by the full back, but Schmeichel got plenty behind it, and it remains Midtjylland 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, listen, it was a decent again in there, decent strike, but it was straight at Schmeichel. You would expect him easily, and he did. He coped with it, caught it, and then he tries a quick throw out, or I think it was a volley, and again Celtic under a little bit of pressure to try to get good possession.
Yeah, Midtjylland trying to capitalise on this early pressure as Francolino picks up once more. McGregor though read the pass, and he steps in, and now he feeds it forward to Kenny, who's unfortunate to see that come off his heel, having made a decent run.
He was very unfortunate actually, because it was a decent ball down the channel. He's just run off the back of the centre half, but he just got it caught under his feet and lost possession. But he's got the capability, Johnny, Kenny, to run into those channels. He's got a little bit of pace.
0-0 Midtjylland Celtic, 0-0 between AK Larnaca and Aberdeen, which is also available as a commentary match, of course, on medium wave or BBC Radio Scotland Digital. But it's Celtic is our main focus here, as Scales gets away with that, a little bit of a tug there, but it is a free kick to Midtjylland out on the left hand side of the pitch. The referee busy early on, making sure the players are aware of what's permitted in these set piece situations. 11 minutes in, Midtjylland pressing for an opening goal here. The free kick is on the left-hand side. Osorio is over it, and Philip Billing as well. It's Osorio takes it left-footed. It's a good ball, and it's met at the near post by Beck, and he couldn't direct it on target. Lifts it over the crossbar from about 10 yards out as he stretched for it as it swung into the penalty area. It's another opportunity for Midtjylland. It's another one that goes a begging, 0-0.
Yeah, you can see what they were doing there. Celtic were lined up on the 18-yard line, and they were actually standing offside, blocking off the Celtic players then to almost drop back and defend, and there was a clear run into a clear space from the centre half, and he just was stretching. He couldn't get contact, but you can see how they actually used the whole blocking technique to create the space and the opportunity.
Ball's back with Elias Olofsson, the Icelandic goalkeeper of Midtjylland. Now it's played forward up towards the halfway line. Scales wins the header, but he's penalised by the referee and shown a yellow card. It seemed to be an awful lot in that at first viewing, but the referee clearly with a better view than us. Backy, let's have a look.
It's nothing in
it's
that,
not
really.
Yellow, is it?
Absolutely nothing.
Not
in
even
that. Yes, he has to use. You've got to jump with your arms and try and head the ball. He's obviously, the referee's indicated that he used his elbow. But listen, I think the game has changed from that perspective. Anyway, you almost can't do anything now. But might have been a free kick. I'm not sure if it was a yellow card, but it does put him into the book, and that's difficult for any centre half early in the game.
Big switch of play by Gagorsa to Mbabu on the right hand side. Lays it back the way now. It's Lee back out to Mbabu, right hand side, booed by the visiting fans, but dispossessed by Tierney, and then he fouls Tierney, and Celtic get a free kick deep in their own territory, and that will relieve some of the pressure. And the opening 13 minutes have been largely played in the Celtic defensive third, Packy.
Yeah, it has, and Celtic struggling to get a grip of the game, get it on the ball, create a few passes, which they normally be at this stage of a game they would be accustomed to having a bit more possession. But yeah, it's been all Midtjylland pressing them high, winning the battle, and creating a few opportunities round the edge of the box.
Kasper Schmeichel then to take the free kick from the left hand side, just outside his penalty area. Is guided back to Olofsson by Lee, the Korean defender of Midtjylland. No real test in these early stages for Olofsson, barring that first minute strike from Arne Engels, which is straight at him. Beyond that, it's been largely Midtjylland doing the attacking, but still goalless as Tierney picks up possession, tries to play it forward, but it only finds Billing, and Midtjylland could be in here. And it's a good challenge again from Trusty, picked up on the edge of the box though by Francolino, turning one way then the other, wants it on the left foot, eventually gets it on. It's a weak shot which trundles into the arms of Kasper Schmeichel, but it's 2 or 3 times now Celtic have been carved open rather easily for Martin O'Neill's liking, I would imagine.
Yeah, there was a huge gap in Celtic's defence on the left hand side. I'm just looking at Trusty's over there. Obviously Scales had to be pushed forward, but he ended up I don't know whether he tried to play offside, but he certainly made up for it with a decent interception. But there was a huge gap after Celtic failed to win the first ball.
Still 0-0 though after a quarter of an hour as Trusty tries to get it forward. It comes back at him off Osorio. Midtjylland being given another free kick. The referee is given a couple of contentious awards already, but Billing getting the free kick there, signed in the summer from Bournemouth for €5 million, spent the second half of last season winning the Serie A title with Napoli alongside Billy Gilmour and Scott McTominay. Certainly a very, very capable midfielder, back now in his homeland playing his football.
Yeah, I'm just again going back to Midtjylland. I think they have maybe started off with a back four. I think they have reverted to sort of almost like a back three now, with Babu pushing up on the right hand side. I think it's Gorsa is on the left hand side. They're the kind of wing backs for them, and then they're sitting with their 3 centre halves.
Yeah, it looks pretty flexible, doesn't it? That's for sure. Celtic get a free kick this time though. which is good news for them. Nygren going down under a challenge, and the free kick midway inside.
Was there much in it?
Again, it's a cheap free kick that's been given by the referee. Pedro Bravo coming in with the challenge on Nygren. Looked to play the ball, but the referee's given the free kick, which has been taken out to that left-hand side to Tenekti. Up against Mbabu, in on the right foot, rolls out, and here's an opportunity. That's a decent chance there for Nygren at the edge of the box, and he's lifted it well over the top, but should be at least hitting the target here, Packy.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, he's got all the time in the world just to get his body over the top of the ball. He hits it with the side of his foot, but he lifts it about 2 yards over the crossbar. Nobody closing them down, so he had the real opportunity. Here's Midtjylland on the move.
At the edge of the penalty area, it's Francolino trying to tease it in. McGregor's back there to head it clear. Picked up once more in the midfield by Bravo. Now to Francolino at the angle of the box. Again looking to get it on the left foot. Oh, it's a lovely ball. Big chance here. Great save. Schmeichel. Another chance on the rebound. That's blocked by the head of Anthony Ralston. The game's going to be stopped because that was point blank range. He took it in the face. But Schmeichel just prior to that with a massive save to deny. I think it was Cho who had the opportunity, and he really should have been burying that. Celtic should be behind.
Yeah, they should be. It was real inventive play again. That Francolino over on the right hand side, really involved, and Celtic just struggling to come to terms with that front three. But a lovely inventive bit of play, a step over by number 8 Billing, and he sets up Chow on the edge of the box, and he has the first effort. Schmeichel makes a big save, comes out, puts his body in the way, that comes back to McGinn, and then he smacks it, and it hits Anthony Ralston right on his head, on his face, and I'm sure they will have to take a little bit of time for him to recover. Hopefully he'll be okay, but a big chance for Midtjylland to go ahead.
Well, they've had opportunities in these early stages, but that one for Gaesong Cho was the best of all from 6 yards out. He really should have been getting the better of Kasper Schmeichel there. Eventually blasted it more or less straight at him, but credit Schmeichel for spreading himself so well. It's been a trademark of his career and his father's before it, making themselves big in that goal to deny on this occasion the Korean Cho. And Ralston just making his way off the park after a little bit of treatment. Looks like he'll be okay to return. We've played 19 minutes in Midtjylland. It's still 0-0. 9 attempts to 2 in favour of Midtjylland. No goals to show for them, as we've played just about 19 minutes. 20 minutes played out in Cyprus between Larnaca and Aberdeen. Still goalless in that one, as Beck plays it forward now for Midtjylland. They look a better team, I have to say. I'm not sure how much you saw the 2 games against Hibernian in July, Packy, but they look a significantly better team, a much slicker and more dangerous outfit than they did against Hibs, when they were probably deserved to go through, but they were nonetheless a little bit fortunate and left it till the last minute of extra time to clinch the victory at Easter Road.
Yeah, no, I didn't see the game and that, but listen, Hibs are up against a decent team there with Hibs also. We know that they were high in confidence, but yeah, listen, they are a strong physical team. They've got those, I said, players up front that are a real handful. They play it fairly direct. There's no real build-up that I see through the thirds of the pitch. They get the ball forward fairly quickly, run the channels.
Here's Cho, left-hand side of the box, sends it into the 6-yard box. Tierney couldn't take any chances and just knocks it behind for a corner kick to Midtjylland out on the right-hand side. But again, the Celtic defence, well, it's holding firm, but at times it's looking very open.
Yeah, again, another nice run by Cho down the side of Trusty, and they're just playing into that space, and they're getting players in past down the sides of the Celtic centre halves, and they're creating opportunities from it.
Another chance here from the corner, this time from the right-hand side. Plenty of bodies once more in that penalty. It looks like it's going to be an outswinger here. It's driven onto the edge of the box, and Babu meets it with a head from about 15 yards. Gets it on target, but straight at Schmeichel, who immediately bowls it out for Tenekti. Celtic trying to counter here. Only Forrest in support. Nugren's getting up there now as well to help Tenecti. Gets to the byline. Can he get the ball into the box? Well, he's won his side a corner, which is pretty much as good as you could have hoped for in that situation, as Bravo got back to cut out the cross at the expense of a corner on the Celtic left.
Yeah, listen, it was a quick, obviously the balls, and Smiles has he bowls it out very quickly, and I guess Tenecti, who's always looking to get up the pitch quickly, and he's won his side, as you say, a corner, which is an opportunity for them now to put a bit of pressure on Midtjylland. But again, just to come back to the last corner, free header from Mbabu in the middle of the box.
Arne Engels lining up this corner kick from the left-hand side. We know how good his delivery can be. Sends that towards the back post. It's won by Francolino, but not entirely clear. And it's going to come here for Tierney on the right-hand side. Tries to cut it back for Scales. Half clear. Ralston sends it back out to the left-hand side for Engels, who just nudges it back here to Tenecti. Tenecti sends it back in towards the back post, and it's another corner kick for Celtic off the head this time of the Croatian Martin Ehrlich.
Yeah, I thought that was a chance for I think it was Tierney maybe to pick the ball up. I thought he was going to have a shot on the target. It was at an acute angle, but test the goalkeeper out. You have a chance, you see the goal, bang.
Well, corner kick this time on the right flank. You'll remember only a couple of weeks ago Aberdeen went down 6-0 away to AK Athens. Athens themselves are a goal down to Shamrock Rovers in Greece. Some strange results in Europe this season, as Engels takes this corner back the way to McGregor at the edge of the box. He then stands up to the back post. Out comes the keeper. It's an easy take for Olofsson, who immediately batters it up towards the halfway line, looking to start the latest attack for Midtjylland. Cho can't make anything of it, and McGregor's back there now to tidy things up for Celtic. Tenecti has it about 20 yards inside his own half. We've played 23 minutes. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra. It's 0-0 between Midtjylland and Celtic in the Europa League, and likewise between AK Larnaca and Aberdeen in the Conference League, as Beck gets it back to his goalkeeper Olofsson, who takes a bit of a chance there. Thought Forrest was going to cut that one out, but it goes back to Beck, and then off Engels in the end for a throw in here on the near side to Celtic, to Midtjylland, I beg your pardon, left hand side as they attack, and it'll be Mads Beck, their captain, to take it. Started every game this season, scored against Nottingham Forest in that real statement victory. I know that Nottingham Forest weren't in great shape at that time when they lost 3-2 at home, but nonetheless, to go to the City ground and win that 1-3-2 is a real big win for the Danes, as Schmeichel, left-footed, knocks it up towards the halfway line, but it's won by Lee, then picked up though by Nugren. Helped on here, looking for Kenny, was Tenecti, but that's cut out, and Billing goes down under the challenge of Nugren, and it will be a free kick to Midtjylland on the halfway line. 24 and a half minutes played, no goals in this Europa League tie, the 4th of 8 for both sides.
Yeah, Celtic just struggling to get any control in the game whatsoever. You know, it's not a passing game for them. They've tried a couple of times to get a number of passes away, and it has broken down on them, and they're working hard more on the defensive side than anything else.
Francolino picks up from Gogorsa on the left-hand side, but couldn't bring it under control, and only succeeded in knocking it behind for a Celtic goal kick with 20 minutes remaining in this first period. Still 0-0 with Schmeichel preparing to take the goal kick.
Yeah, listen, Celtic be happy. 25 minutes gone, they've kept it to 0-0. They'll hopefully will get a period in the game where they can get a little bit more of the ball, more possession.
Osorio trying to tease that through. Cho couldn't quite latch onto it. Schmeichel off his line to pick that one up. The Chilean Osorio scored at Easter Road, opening goal that night, as the ball bounces over the head there of Lee. Kenny though was poor once he picked up possession. He tried to feed it out to Forrest on the right hand side, and it was a loose pass and out for a throw-in to Midtjylland. Celtic have got to make more of the rare chances they get to get themselves up the park.
Yeah, it was a loose pass, wasn't it? You know, The ball bounced over the centre half. He had time maybe even to get it under control. He tries to play it out to Forrest, but wasn't accurate and give possession straight back to Midtjylland.
You have it. It's gone back to the goalkeeper, Olofsson. Clips it out to the right hand side for Babu. He heads it on, looking for Bravo. Celtic pick up though. Kenny this time with a better pass out to Tinekti, left hand side. He rolls it back to Tierney, and now McGregor back to the halfway line for Scales, who will in turn play it back to Kasper Schmeichel, who's well out of his penalty area. He plays it to Trusty, who's been brought back into favour by Martin O'Neill, having been out in the cold really under Brendan Rodgers this season. And I know there's been a bit of debate about playing the two left-footed centre backs, but certainly Scales and Trusty look in the last couple of games at least have looked pretty steady. Maybe a bigger task on their hand tonight to keep the clean sheet. But Celtic have picked up good possession. It was Trusty actually who burst forward, but he just lost control of the ball there, and he'll have to get back into position as Midtjylland pick up and feed it out to the right hand side to Babu, just inside his own half. Plays it forward now for Osorio, trying to get in on that left foot from the right hand side. He's stopped by Tierney, who's done well to feed McGregor turns back the way. He's under a bit of pressure here from Mbabu, plays it off Mbabu and out for a throw-in over on the far side.
Yeah, listen, they had a wee opportunity there against Celtic. You know, again, Trusty breaking forward. You know, he gets the ball and just a simple little pass to Nekti would have set him up, and he's got the ability to take the ball and take people on. Instead, they just gave it away as soon as they won it back, and that's been the feature of the game so far for Celtic.
Midtjylland are unbeaten in the last 11 games since their only defeat of the season, which came away to North Shalland. That was actually in Mike Tulberg's first game in charge. They've won 9 and drawn 2 since then. It was after that game that he moved from a 4 at the back to the 3 at the back that he's generally stuck with, and it's proved pretty successful so far. Here's Forrest for Celtic, back with Ralston, 10 yards inside his own half, plays it into the central area to Nygren, who's got it out to the right hand side. Here's Forrest on the halfway line, tries to play it in field, but it's well read there by the centre back Ehrlich, and Midtjylland pick up and is billing on the halfway line, back the way to Lee.
Yeah, it's rushed, isn't it? You know, and when we look at that midfield setup, and when he's got two sitting obviously with Engels and Nygren Engels alongside McGregor, and then Nygren is the one that's in the number 10 position. They lack that then opportunity to maybe play that little forward pass, and normally the opposition close them down and win the ball back, and they've been struggling just to get a couple of passes away, Celtic.
Here's Lee at the back for Midtjylland, feeding it forward, looking to go over the top of Trusty, but Trusty gets his head to it, only finds the feet of Gogorsa though on the left hand side. Looking to get the better here of James Forrest, who's back doing some defensive work, and he's won possession well. The referee had a look at it, but no foul. Forrest though himself is dispossessed, and now Midtjylland will come forward once more. It's Bravo out to the right hand side for Mbabu, but 25 yards from goal. Comes back the way here to Lee into the feet of Osorio. Takes out to the right hand side. Such a tricky player, the Chilean, on that right hand side. Gets into the box, Scales clears.
Too easy to get a cross in there. There's two players out there for Celtic, Tierney and Tunekti, and they've got to stop the cross.
Back out to the left hand side now for Gogorsa, coming up towards the edge of the penalty area, onto the right foot, stands it up into that penalty spot area, away by Trusty, picked up again by Midtjylland in the shape of Lee, who gets it to Billing, and now Pedro Bravo back to Lee on the halfway line. Lee plays it square to Beck, just inside his own half. This captain looks up and fires the big switch of play out to the right hand side to Mbabu with a simply dreadful attempt at a cross, and behind for the goal kick. 30 minutes played in Denmark. Midtjylland 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, Celtic staying very compact, trying to stay compact through the middle, but that's what your play is on all the time when the centre halves get it, and Mbabu's pushed right up on the right hand side. We've got Gorsa on the left hand side, and that they're staying wide, and that ball is on all of the time, and then Celtic struggle a little bit to get to them quick enough and to put those crosses into the box.
Midtjylland have a throw-in. There's a shot of Thomas Gravesen in the crowd there, the Dane who played for Celtic. Quite a character, I gather. As Beck lines up potentially a long throw-in here from the left-hand side. Into the penalty area it comes as Midtjylland look for an opener, but Ralston defends it well, heads it clear. Hans Beck will just see it out of play once more for another throw in the left flank. If he was just wanted a brief pause there, but waves play on again for Beck to take this. It looks like another long throw in from the left hand side. And it comes once more into that penalty. It's flicked on this time by Billing, cleared and met at the edge of the box. Schmeichel turns it round the post. It was a good hit from about 30 yards on the volley there, but Schmeichel got down to his right hand side as it came out. I think it was Osorio who caught it there on the volley, and Schmeichel had to look lively here. Indeed it was Osorio. That was fine in the bottom corner as Schmeichel not go down to turn that round for a corner kick to Midtjylland.
Yeah, it was a really good strike on the volley from the edge of the box. Schmeichel, initially I thought that he was going to get caught on it because it was sort of almost bouncing into that corner.
Here comes the corner from the left into the 6-yard box. Bit of panic there, but eventually Nygren gets it clear. He's going to come back out to the left hand side to go Gorsa. To the edge of the penalty area he comes on that left hand side, and he gets it to the back post. There's the header, there's a goal. It's Philip Billing who rises highest at the back post, but it's eventually been turned in, I think, by Ehrlich perhaps, who was up still from the corner.
Yeah, out jumped at the back post, but you cannot allow him to drive into the box, and that it was far too easy to get the drive in and get the cross. It just got to the byline, little dink to the back post. The big boys are up there. Got to get out tighter, Anthony Ralston. Don't back off. There's 2-3 players there. Show him one way into traffic, but he just plays it. Out jumps Trusty at the back post. But no, don't let him in. I can just see it. Good feet from, but it was just a little dink to the back post. And once that happens, then you're hoping the defenders can get a header, but they've been out jumped at the back post.
It's Martin Ehrlich's first goal in a Midtjylland jersey, rising highest there. Billing was in there, but it's an opening goal for Midtjylland, and you have to say, Packy, on the balance of play, is probably deserved.
But deserved, absolutely. They've had most of the play, but it was such a simple goal. You get the ball, you drive into the box, you get to the byline, you dink it to the back post, and they've got somebody coming in on the end of it just to head it back into the back of the net. So the first thing is, Celtic, don't allow him to run into the box. You've got 2-3 players close to him. It was 3v1. Do something, stop him. Here he goes again, he's on the ball, you're backing off. Now he's right in the box again.
Gorsa, what a goal that is! 2 in 2 minutes for Midtjylland, and Mikael Gogorza, having created the first from the left hand side, dances through a couple of what you might loosely term challenges before curling it beyond Kasper Schmeichel into his far post to make it all of a sudden Midtjylland 2, Celtic 0.
Yeah, far too easy for me. You've got to close it. You've got to do something to stop him. You can't allow him. The first one was getting to the byline. This time he squeezed himself through two players, and the goal was opened up. Even Trusty's got to then come across. He's picked the ball up. He gets the ball back from Billing. Now he's got possession. He's in the control. You've got Arne Engels and Anthony Ralston. I think it should have been McGregor, actually should have been driving towards him to stop him, but it was too easy for him. Just knocks it through 2 players on his right foot and just curls it round. Schmeichel hits the side net, and second goal.
Oh, that's a devastating couple of minutes for Celtic, losing 2 goals. First of all, the header from Martin Ehrlich, and then Mikael Gagorsa, the teenage left winger, just too easily past Ralston and Engels at the edge of the penalty area before firing it past Kasper Schmeichel. And Celtic have got a massive amount of work to do. It's a long way back from here. 36 minutes played. Midtjylland 2, Celtic 0.
Yeah, and the way the game has panned out is that they haven't any control in the game whatsoever, and they're almost getting, I would call it, run over the top of in midfield. They're not able to get any control, and then of course they have the three players, Chow, Francolino up front, and that man Gagorsa out on the left hand side, real threat to them, and Celtic can't cope with it.
Yeah, absolutely no way he should have been able to get between the two players, though, to get that shot off in the first instance. Martin O'Neill will be absolutely furious with that weak defending. And with just 8 minutes left in this first period, Celtic desperately need the next goal in the game. They trail by 2, having kept a clean sheet for over half an hour, but did feel like the goal was coming, and when it came, it was swiftly followed by a second. And so Celtic here coming forward, looking to try and reduce the arrears. Billing sticks a foot in, gets it clear, and the danger for Celtic is that they concede again. If they leave themselves open, Scales comes across there to knock it out of play as Midtjylland look to swiftly counter once more.
Yeah, their confidence is up now, isn't it? They're really taking the game to Celtic, and every time they get the ball, they look as if they're a real threat. And you know, it's just really about Celtic hanging in here until half time.
That's Beck going to line up another long throw in from the left hand side.
Yeah, listen, the long throw's back in the game. It's back, and what they're doing is they're going really deep in on top of Schmeichel and leaving it then to come back out of that, coming and almost getting a flick on.
Ralston deals with this one, and
so it doesn't always have to be in the top of the players. It can be into space, and they're exploiting the space really well. If you go back on, Celtic players have to go back with them because they're not offside, and then that space in front of them, they're exploiting it, coming to the ball, getting the flick on. Celtic struggling to clear their lines.
Engels knocks it forward, but it's gone straight out of play. It's going to be a Midtjylland throw-in on the left flank, taken by Beck back the way to Lee, just inside his own half. 38 and a half played in Denmark. Midtjylland 2, Celtic 0 in the Europa League. Celtic look like they're going to be stuck on 4 points unless they can mount a fairly remarkable comeback in what remains of this game. But
they've got to get a hold of the ball first, that's
yeah,
for sure.
Midtjylland very much in control as things stand, as it's fed forward down the left hand side for Francolino to try and spin away from Trusty, and he gets it square to Cho. Cho helps it out to Mbabu right hand side into the penalty area. It comes off the head of McGregor, and Mbabu will keep it alive. Francolino flicks it on. Osorio's in there. It's cleared as far as Billing. He gets out to Gagorsa. Celtic need to close him down as he teases it back in. Scales gets the header before Francolino. Out it comes to Bravo and Osorio. Osorio up to the edge of the penalty area once more, and Babu from the right hand side into the 6-yard box. Trusty didn't know what was around him and heads it behind for another Midtjylland corner.
Yeah, they're getting torn apart, Celtic. They can't get any control, and you know, they're getting bodies into the box. Midtjylland 2, 3, 4 bodies at a time. When the ball goes wide, they're putting the ball into good areas. Here's another long throw coming up.
Yeah, not behind for a corner, but out of play for a throw-in down near the corner flag. But Beck will make it almost as good as a corner with this long throw that comes in towards the near post. Celtic get first contact. Who's going to get second to it? Falls for Francolino. Gets the shot off. Has found the back of the net. Kasper Schmeichel claiming it took a deflection from a player who was offside, I think. But yeah, he's asking for that to be looked at. But either way, Francolino's shot has found the back of the net, and for the moment at least, Midtjylland have opened up a 3-goal advantage in the space of little more than 5 minutes here in Denmark. It's Midtjylland 3, Celtic 0.
Well, if this stance is becoming embarrassing now for Celtic, 3-0 down after 40 minutes, have had no control, no possession of the football. The ball just flicked to the back post. People slow to get out, closed down Francolino. I don't think he's offside. I think McGregor standing in.
No, there's definitely no one offside, is it? I'm not sure. That seemed to be what Schmeichel was.
I think it's
blaming.
No, it's not offside. I think McGregor's playing Mbabu on side, and the other player is standing maybe in an offside position. I don't think he's in line of the ball, so I think this goal will stand.
Yeah, I think Schmeichel's clutching at straws there, unless he's seen something that we haven't been able to spot. It's been checked, but the referee quickly points to the centre spot, and Midtjylland are 3 goals up here in Celtic. The goals all coming in the space of about 6 minutes.
Yeah, just very, very, very poor defending, I've got to say. Really poor defending. First 2 goals, even that one there, when the ball is flicked to the back post off Trusty's head, nobody gets to Francolino and closes him down, and he's allowed to get control of the ball and open up and bend that ball into the far corner.
Well, the floodgates have opened at the back for Celtic, having stood firm for about 34 minutes. He's conceded 3 goals since then. Francolino adding to his tally for the season. He's now up to 18 goals in 25 games.
You've got to get close. You've got to get close. You can't stand off good players. They'll exploit it, and I think Tuganekti was the one that was closest to him. You've got to get really tight and make sure that he doesn't lift his head and pick his spot.
He's 3 goals in his last 2 Europa League games, actually, because he got a double against Maccabi Tel Aviv in the 3-0 win out in Israel in the last game, as Billing goes down under the challenge here from Engels. Yeah, he stands on his boot there. Sore one for the midfielder. 43 on the clock. Midtjylland 3, Celtic 0, and this already looks like a lost cause. And the momentum that Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney had been able to build in the last couple of games since coming in is coming to a shuddering halt in Denmark, and it could get worse here as Midtjylland have yet another long throw-in incoming here from Beck from the left-hand side, looking to cause further damage. Trusty wins the header. Forrest will prevent it from going behind for the corner kick on this occasion. Feeds it forward, but he's given it straight away, and fortunately for him on this occasion, Ehrlich, the scorer of the opening goal, can do nothing with it, and Celtic have possession back. But they need a goal back ideally before half-time if they're to make anything of this game in terms of a contest, but already feels like it might be beyond that stage. 0-0 still out in Cyprus as they're in the final seconds of the first half there between Larnaca and Aberdeen, but not such a decent scoreline in Denmark as Celtic trail by 3. Kenny picks up on the right hand side. Can Celtic somehow find a goal at the end of a pretty dreadful first period for them?
Yeah, there's no pass on through midfield. They're just pushing on. They're playing with 3 at the back. That gives them an extra player in the middle of the pitch, and they're pushing on to McGregor, pushing on to Engels. Negrin is being man-marked by 1 player. That's all they have to do, and they're not getting any way up into those spaces higher up the pitch that they can exploit, and it's not working for them.
It's back with Olofsson out to Lee. And Lee clips it up towards the halfway line to Osorio, who tries to let it go beyond Callum McGregor. He's not managed to do that, but picking up now, driving into the box, it's Osorio for Cho. It could get worse for Celtic, and fortunately for him, Callum McGregor put himself in harm's way to prevent a clean shot, and Schmeichel's able to gather, but McGregor has hurt himself in the process of keeping the damage at 3 rather than 4 in the final seconds of the first half. We've got 2 minutes added on time here, and Callum McGregor trying to keep a bit of respectability, if you can say that about a 3-0 first half scoreline here.
Yeah, he just managed to get back McGregor just as I'm trying to see who it was, his job, just opening out, just to pull the trigger, and he gets there, and Schmeichel just saves with his foot and holds on. but it could have been 4 absolutely easily, and for all the first half, I think, I'm not saying 3-0 is a fair reflection on it, but it's just Celtic just cannot pass that ball, and they cannot keep the ball for any length of time. It's they've got to think very hard at half time how they're going to come up with a plan to get themselves back into this game, if they can at all.
Into the final minute of stoppage time then, at the end of this first period, Celtic trailing by 3-0. They've got a free kick for an offside, which Schmeichel will come way out of his goal to take. Launches that one forward down the left hand side, but can't find Tenekti. Straight out for a throw in. There won't be too much more action in this first half. It's half time in Cyprus, 0-0 there, and we'll hear more about that just shortly, as Beck picks up on the edge of his own penalty area, plays it square, and now it's Lee just bringing it forward and then going back the way as Midtjylland have total control of this Europa League tie going in at half time. There's the whistle to bring an end to a first period utterly dominated by Midtjylland. They had chances before they eventually got that first goal, which came in 34 minutes. A Gagorsa cross from the left hand side, and Martin Ehrlich was there to meet it with a head to make it 1-0 to the home side. And about a minute later, Gagorsa himself danced between a couple of challenges, if you can call it that, but Ralston and Engels all too easily allowing him through before he curled the ball beyond Kasper Schmeichel to make it 2-0. And then on 40 minutes, Francolino picking up from a clearance just inside the box, and he hit a left foot shot beyond Schmeichel to make the half-time scoreline in Denmark. Midtjylland 3, Celtic 0.
Celtic in the UEFA Europa League.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Your defender, go back the way onto his heels, which he does, and he can't get tight enough. He doesn't want to get tight enough to try and stop the cross. And then he's positioned for the second one where he's too wide or too deep. The gap opens up. It's far too easy, and it's a great goal, you have to say, from a Midtjylland point of view. But defensively, really, really poor from Celtic. I think as a whole, they looked okay in the game, I would say, and they've just had a mad 7 minutes or so where they've somehow find themselves 3-0 down. Although, having said that, Midtjylland have looked dangerous throughout. It just, as soon as they found the breakthrough, it just looked like they were going to go on and score again and again and again. So, I think half time's come at a good time for the scoreline. Can Celtic get back into it? Not if they continue to play like they did in the first half.
Yeah, Mikael Kruger-Johnson with the cross from the left-hand side. Martin Ehrlich with the header to make it 1-0. Then a brilliant bit of individual play, really, from Mikael Kruger-Johnson, curling the shot in to make it 2-0. And then Francolino making it 3-0 for Midtjylland. BBC Scotland's chief sports writer Tom English with us. You were the voice of doom/reality at the start of the programme, Tom. Celtic really are in dire straits right now, aren't they?
Yeah, look, it's embarrassing. Midtjylland 15 shots, 9 shots on target, 3 goals. Those numbers could be a lot more. They could be 20 shots. They could be 15 on target. They could be 4 or 5 goals. This is as bad. This is grim for Celtic as anything we saw in the record defeats against PSG and Barcelona and Dortmund and Atletico Madrid. This is woeful. They're defending woefully. They can't keep the ball. They look spooked, totally panicked. Midtjylland look full of running. They were inaccurate in front of goal early on. They had 10 attempts on goal in 22 minutes. It was just one-way traffic completely, and this could get a lot worse. If Midtjylland want to really keep their foot on Celtic's throat, this could be utterly brutal, and it is utterly brutal already. The whole Martin O'Neill effect. I said it before we started tonight. I think people were getting carried away with the Martin O'Neill effect based on a a win against Falkirk, who were lousy on the night, and a win against Rangers, against a 10-man Rangers. This is reality. This is what Celtic are like too often in Europe. This is not that surprising that they're losing heavily, because Celtic's record in Europe is just it's awful.
Pat Bonner's been co-commentating this evening. Pat, how concerned are you about the second half getting messy from a Celtic point of view?
It's messy already. I'm very concerned. And Tom has come away with all the stats. Absolutely. I'm watching the game and I'm looking at where's the energy? Where's the energy? And James talked about defending, closing down. Not there. Every time they get the ball, Midtjylland, they play it wide. Nobody goes to the player in the ball. They allow him to drive into the box. The goals came from that. It came on other occasions also. Even the last goal, nobody closed. Tonekti is the closest to Francolino. Go and close him down. Go and close him down. It's not 2 and 3, 4 yards away from it. It's right on his toe. You're inside the box. Don't give a good player the opportunity to pick up his head, open up and bend the ball round the goalkeeper into the back of the net.
Mitchell have had 12 shots inside the box.
Yeah.
So nobody's throwing themselves and stuff. It's just chaotic there.
Yeah, but the other big aspect of the game is that Celtic can't get a grip of the ball. They can't get possession. Schmeichel gets the ball. He's tried a few passes early on through the middle. Obviously, Celtic are set up, as we talked about, with the two holding players. But that's fine when the opposition have the ball. But then when you haven't got the ball, or when you try to have the ball, then you've got to create opportunities to get on it. Negrin is standing up on his own, hoping to get a ball. He's been man-marked. They've just pushed people on top of McGregor and top of Ingles. When Celtic try to play anywhere in there, they're shut down, the ball's taken off them, and the opposition get... How many passes have Celtic played tonight to keep possession of the ball when they had it? Very, very few. Maybe 1, 2, 3 passes max, and then they give the ball away. That is not Celtic. That was never Celtic for the last number of years. And that's where the big difference is at the moment in time. Whether there's a lack of confidence, fine. Whether it's maybe Midtjylland's at home, they're a big, strong, physical team, they're stopping you. But you've got to find a solution to that. You've got to find a way that you can actually get on the ball and take the heat out of the game. That's not happening.
Johnny Kenny hasn't touched the ball in the Midtjylland penalty box.
No. But the ball's never been
Zero
in the
threat.
They've only had
Zero
down
threat.
the left-hand side with Tuganekti a couple of times.
Yeah.
They laid the ball back. There was a chance right at the start of the game for Ingles, who hit the target first time. Negrin had a really good opportunity to again do exactly the same, and he balloons the ball over the box. That's the only two real times. I think Tierney had a chance maybe at the back post. I thought he should have had a strike when he tried to cut it back, and that was it from Celtic. And that's not the Celtic that we've been accustomed to. I know, Tom, you've said they've a lousy record in Europe, but you've seen games also that they have actually played a lot better and maybe not won the game. But tonight, it's nothing. Nothing defensively and nothing from attacking side.
A desperately poor first half from Celtic, James, clearly. What will the dynamic be in that Celtic dressing room right now? Do you imagine, with Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney, what will they be saying to the players? What do you think they will be looking to change to try and get some sort of grip here?
Well, I think it's tough because Midtjylland are well in their stride. I think, it could well be, and I don't know if it still happens, but it should be happening, that you're digging players out. You've got to get tighter, too passive. You've had a few runs out of the first goal, and Gagorza has taken on Ralston and Forrest, and Forrest is backing Ralston up, and he should be saying to him, I'm inside you. If he cuts onto his right, I've got him. Make sure he doesn't get down the line. If he gets down the line, you block the cross. But the two of them are kind of backing off. It's really passive defending. So I think it will be, everything Tom and Packy have said, have to be more aggressive to stop crosses, be more difficult to play against, and use the ball much better when you have it. I mean, it is 3-0. It could have been a lot more. Kasper Schmeichel's had a couple of brilliant saves, and then it just looks like Midtjylland are in their stride. It's going to be very difficult. The dynamic, I'm not so sure, Jonathan, because at the extra time, Sean Maloney was leading the team talk.
Yeah.
At the first period, extra time, then half time and extra time, then Martin O'Neill would step in. So if that's anything to go by, then it'll be Sean Maloney that'll be doing the talking.
Celtic, the big story here at half time. Tom English, in terms of Aberdeen, a lot of us were fearing the worst against this up and coming AEK Larnaca's side, but 0-0 at half time. It actually feels quite hopeful, although Larnaca obviously had that effort off the post.
Yeah, it does. Like Larnaca are a better team, but Aberdeen are digging in. You know, there's plenty of spirit in the team. They're surviving just about. Larnaca look threatening at times. Obviously, the great effort off the woodwork. That was an escape for Aberdeen, but they're showing a lot more resilience than they showed the last day. You know, they're showing a lot of more stomach for the fight, more organisation, more character, and it might, if they hang in there, it might get them a point. And if they get a point out of this, that's a notable recovery, given the trauma that they've had with the 6-0. If they can get something out of this game, that shows a lot of resilience, and it would be a very, very good point for them. But it's a long way to go. They need to get on the ball a bit more. They're dropping a bit deeper, maybe asking for trouble. But so far, so okay.
James, what have you made of it? Aberdeen with a lot of possession in the early part of the half, not so much in the second part.
Yeah, well, I think that, you know, the big thing you're looking for is a reaction. Is there a hangover from, you know, the previous game in Europe? I don't think there is. I think there's a team that they believe they can get something from the game, and you know, you have to accept that you're going away against a team that are doing really well in the competition. They're going to have their spells in the game. I think Aberdeen at times have looked like they can threaten without actually really putting AEK Larnaca under a load of pressure. But I'd be delighted with the response, because you know, that's what you're looking for. How are they going to respond? I think they've responded well, and you can see there's a bit of belief that if it is a 0-0 and they have to grind it out, and Mitov has to make some saves and defenders need to get some blocks in, then it's a good 0-0. So they've got something to build on at the minute, and I think that the longer it goes, because we speak about it from an Aberdeen point of view, and quite rightly so, but you're also looking at Larnaca saying, right, Aberdeen are coming, they've lost heavily their last game, they're in a great position, the pressure is on them to win the game. So the longer the game goes on, they might get a bit desperate and push bodies forward and think, right, 3 wins out of 3 for them would be absolutely amazing. It might leave gaps for Aberdeen to go and exploit and potentially nick a 1-0, and if they could nick a 1-0, then that'd be an incredible result for them.
Willie Miller co-commentating on this match. And Willie, you've had a chance to get your breath back. How heartened are you ahead of this second half?
Well, they've been disciplined, they've been organised, they've defended when they've had to defend, they've defended as a unit. There isn't the huge gaps that we witnessed over in Athens. There hasn't been the same opportunities created by the opposition. I would say that Larnaca don't look particularly impressive. I'm looking at the players that they've got out there. I'm not feeling that they've got too many players that are top quality. The results have been great, absolutely, but they don't look as though, and I'm saying that at half time, there's still another 45 minutes to go. They've relied on their centre back to hit the woodwork and come close with another one very shortly after it as well. So I think as far as Aberdeen's concerned, the tactics have been great. Get yourself back, low block. Tom's saying that they're inviting the opposition on. I've no problem with that at all. I think as long as you're organised and disciplined, and Aberdeen have been, there've been no gaps. The gaps between the back five, the midfield, and even Lazetic coming back and playing his role defensively. I think it's okay, and they have looked as though they can cause a threat going forward as well. So it's been a good. On the back of the Athens performance, and it's been a great first half for them, and hopefully they can create an opportunity or two in the second half.
Willie, thanks very much. There is a choice of listening here on Sports Sound for Midtjylland against Celtic, tuned to BBC Radio Scotland on 92 to 95 FM and BBC Sounds and 5 Sports Extra. For AEK Larnaca against Aberdeen, tuned to BBC Radio Scotland on digital 810 medium wave and Radio Scotland Extra on BBC Sounds and 5 Sports Extra 2. And both matches live online at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland.
Welcome back to our coverage of Midtjylland against Celtic. I can see Dyson Maida coming down the tunnel, stripped and ready to come on. Paki and I were just debating as to whether there would be changes at half-time for Celtic. Maida is going to be at least one. Looks like he's the only one at this stage. But could really have taken off any number of Celtic players after that first half display.
Well, I would assume he's replaced Forrest on the right hand side. It's the only option I can see. But Colin McGregor's out there trying to do a team talk. So I don't see Forrest. Is that am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I suspect it is that, Packy. I've not seen a board as yet. The only Osmond is also coming on, so Johnny Kenny's presumably having made way for him. So a big evening for young Callum Osmond, having got his first goal for the club to clinch the victory over Rangers on Sunday. He is going to come on, having been only added to the European squad in the last day or two to replace the long-term injured Cameron Carter-Vickers. Normally you're not allowed to replace players outside of the registration phase, but if a player is long-term injured like Carter-Vickers appears to be, then he can be replaced, and that is what they've done with Callum Osmond, and he is going to enter the fray here for the second half. But it's a pretty thankless task. Both he and Daisen Maeda have been handed coming on at 3-0 down, but I'm sure they'll go out and give it their all here to try and help Celtic at least put a bit of respectability on the scoreline, if nothing else.
Yes. Yeah, if Johnny Kenny's gone off, I would feel a little bit gutted for him, because they haven't really been up the pitch to really get him into the game too often. There was a few balls were maybe knocked up to him that he's going to be up against big centre halves. That's not his game, to win balls in the air. So just waiting to see here. Very slow, and the referee coming to see who's coming on or who's going. Well, we know who's coming on, who's going off, actually.
Yeah, we haven't had confirmation, certainly from the fourth official with the board yet. We are surmising that it will be Forrest and Kenny. I think at last we're going to get the board now. As Maeda to replace James Forrest, presumably on the right flank where Forrest was playing. Tunekti has played pretty well on the left hand side since joining Celtic. Callum Osmond replaces Johnny Kenny, so changes as we assumed. It'll be Celtic to get us back underway for the second period, trailing by 3-0 in the Europa League, and looking to try and make amends for a really dismal first half showing against an impressive, you would have to say, Midtjylland side. Definitely improved from the performances earlier in the season against Hibernian, when David Gray's side pushed them all the way. And so we're back underway, and Celtic going from right to left from our view in this second half, and looking to try and make some sort of impact. Barely tested Elias Olofsson in that first half, but it's Midtjylland getting the ball out to the left hand side to the lively Gogorsa in the early stages, and it comes to Bravo, and now Osorio clips it out to the right hand side to Mbabu. Already Celtic trying to shuffle across and close down the spaces. A nudge in the back there, it seemed, from Arne Engels, but he gets away with it. But the clip ball forward's not a good one. Francolino almost in once more, having got the third goal of the evening.
I'll be really interested in this half to see if Celtic can get a number of passes away, and I'll be counting them to see, is it, you know, what we've normally see from Celtic is that they string at least 4 or 5 passes together to create opportunities for themselves. But if you keep giving the ball away after your second, third pass, you have no chance.
It's cool play in the middle of the park once more from Bravo. It gets it to Beck and out to the left hand side for Gogorsa, who seems to have plenty of room, and now he's charging it. Ralston, he's past him, back comes Nugren to help him. McGregor with the pass back. Francolino almost in there before Schmeichel. Schmeichel stays calm. Little Cruyff turn away from Francolino, and Celtic able to clear for the moment at least. But Billings picked up once more, and now Cho just outside the area. McGregor challenges him. He got himself wrong side there, McGregor, and he's given away the free kick in a dangerous area as Midtjylland look to add to their tally of 3 already.
Yeah, listen, there was a chance by McGregor initially giving the ball away, or giving the ball back to to Schmeichel, who actually did okay uncomposed, and then they tried to play it out, and again then McGregor getting the ball in that sort of number 6 position and ends up giving away the free kick and gives another opportunity for Midtjylland to maybe try and hit the target here. Right almost just slightly right of centre, about 25 yards out.
Yep, exactly that. Philip Billing is standing over it, looking like he's going to take charge of this, although he's calling Gagorsa across as well. It could be a further test here for Kasper Schmeichel. Just 3 minutes of the second half played. Gagorsa is also lining this up. Billing standing over it as well. The Celtic wall just inside the penalty area, as it is Gagorsa who fires it off the wall. It's a poor effort from Gagorsa, who'd had such a big impact in that first period. Billing picks up, helps it back into the area. Out comes Schmeichel, grabs that one and immediately launches it forward down the left hand side, looking to try and release to Nekti, but back goes Mbabu, guides it back to Olofsson, who clears his lines up towards halfway. 0-0, 3-0. Wishful thinking there. 3-0 to Midtjylland. 0-0 out in Larnaca, still between AEK and Aberdeen in the Conference League. Commentary of that one across on 810 medium wave and our digital channel. But Midtjylland against Celtic here in the Europa League, also on 5 Sports Extra. As Celtic have a throw in, a decent advanced position. Kieran Tierney preparing to take it. Absolutely vital Celtic get the next goal if they are to try and get anything from the contest, which does seem unlikely, but
well, they have to put a performance in the second half, that's for sure, both defensively and attacking. I'm sure he's put Maeda and Osman on just to create more energy in the team, because that was really missing in the first half.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if they're feeling the effects of extra time, but Midtjylland actually played on Monday night, their last league game, so there's no real excuse there, having played 24 hours earlier than their hosts. Here's Cho in the middle of the park, just touches it back to Osorio, and now Billing just inside his own half, just helps it on there for Lee, and forward it goes, and they're just able to play around Celtic so easily. It's Mbabu out on the right hand side, looking to take on Tierney here. Tries to come inside him. Tierney, did he get the last touch? No. Comes off Mbabu, according to the assistant referee, who points for the goal kick. We'll get a quick look at the replay here. Not sure we got that one right, but in any case, Celtic will take anything they can get just at the moment. 5 minutes gone in this second period, and they still trail by 3-0 as they did at the interval.
Yeah, your description though in midfield where they played around Celtic's midfielders was absolutely spot on. You know, people are being 10, maybe 15 yards away from a player, then going to him, and it's too late then, and they'll just pick their pass, and you're out of the game. Again, it's Midtjylland coming forward. Francolino beaten to it though by Trusty, who knocks out for a throw over on the far side. And it's another opportunity for Mads Beck potentially to hurl a long one into the penalty area of Celtic. Yeah, you can see how they set up now. They'll push right in and top. Like the throw's coming from probably level with the corner of the 18-yard box, but even beyond it, and they're right in the 6-yard box, and they'll come off and they'll get that flick on, which they've done again. Scales gets it half clear. Out to the left-hand side it goes again for Midtjylland. Maeda comes back though to help mop up, and it's fed forward, and Celtic could be in here. Callum Osman looking to try and latch onto it. Not a great deal of support with him, and in the end he's just outnumbered as much as anything else and loses possession as Midtjylland yet again pick up on the right-hand side. It's Mbabu. Back for Lee. And now back to Olofsson. Lee once more at the edge of his own penalty area. Yeah, I don't like to see players looking behind them and almost looking to the bench to see, do I go and press, do I not go and press? That should be organised. They should know what they're doing. Donecti on this side here, I don't know whether he's looking back at the bench or looking at his fullback, but he doesn't know whether to go and press or leave his position.
It's Ehrlich who got the opening goal. Lovely ball. Osorio couldn't bring it down those scales, able to hook it over his head and finds Engels. Engels just outside his own penalty area, just knocks it back to Trusty at the edge of the box, plays it forward to Nygren. He's quickly closed down by Villing. Back to Schmeichel it goes. First time ball out to the left hand side. Mbabu wins it ahead of Tenekti. Osorio will try and guide it back to Mbabu, and he's managed to do that. Here's Mbabu right hand side, low ball in, Scales deals with it, clears it only as far as Osorio. He goes for goal, but he's hit that 2 or 3 yards over the top, and it remains after 53 minutes Midtjylland 3, Celtic 0.
No change. It's so easy for Midtjylland to get possession and find space and exploit that space. It's just not working tonight for Celtic.
No, it's not.
Their organisation, their defensive organisation they're not sharp enough, they're not getting to the ball, and even now they have possession at the back. Now they're just kicking it up the pitch from Schmeichel. Obviously no confidence to get the ball down and maybe try and pass it and build the game, and hoping that they're going to maybe work off the second ball.
On the left hand side as Midtjylland try and build another attack, Celtic get it back. Osman flicks it to his right, but it's picked up once again by the Danes, and they're coming forward dangerously. Mbabu in a lot of space out on the right hand side. Can he take a decent first touch out of his feet? Well, Tenekti recovered well to nip it away from his toes, but Mbabu almost winning it back there. Tenekti on his own goal line here, trying to get it clear inside his own penalty area, keeps his composure and plays it to his right to Trusty on to Ralston forward now to Nygren. He's closed down by Billing, but unfairly, says the referee, and it will be a free kick to Celtic despite Billing's protests. 9 minutes gone in this second period. No further goals, still Midtjylland 3, Celtic 0.
Yeah, again, I think Billing's got the ball that time, and Celtic lucky to maybe get the free kick, but at least it gives them back possession, and let's see, they'll probably take it short, I would assume. Not much target up front for them to go and hit, which they do play it long.
Celtic looking to try and create something at long last. Got themselves a corner.
Yeah, Engels picking it up and tries a cross and it's blocked, but that gives him an opportunity maybe to create something in the box.
Corner kick from the right hand side then. Can Celtic get a goal back and bring themselves back into the game? Give themselves something to build on.
Yeah, they've only got 5 players now inside the box.
And it comes from the right hand side, headed away by Beck as far as Ralston. Ralston's going to go for a goal, and he's not too far away. That was a bit of a daisy cutter there from Anthony Ralston, and maybe half a yard wide of the post. We'll get a better look at it from behind the goal here on the replay.
Yeah, it was well wide, but at least he had a shot trying to hit the target, just cuts across it a little bit, and it goes wide of the right hand post. He lost the space and time to pick his shot and pick the area of the goal that he wanted to hit.
I'll just quickly give you the Rangers starting 11. Remember, they're up against Roma and the 8 o'clock kick-off. Live coverage of that here to follow us on BBC Radio Scotland as Midtjylland come forward into the penalty area. They come once more. Francolino on the edge of the box, well challenged by Trusty, breaks for Billing about 25 from goal, dinks it back in. Gogorsa's there, Trusty again with the clearance to get it away. It's Butland in goal for Rangers. Tavernier, Suter and Giga at the back. Aarons, Barron, Raskin and Magoma across the midfield, with Moore and Gassama supporting Chermiti up front as Midtjylland try and create another opportunity here. Again, Trusty gets the header clear. Midtjylland not giving up though, leading by 3-0. And Babu has it on the right hand side, closely marshalled by Tierney, and then Tenekti comes back to help him out and wins possession. Tierney's clearance is charged down though, and then he can only head the ball out of play as Midtjylland prepared to make their first couple of changes after 57 minutes. Still, they lead by 3-0.
Yeah, it hasn't improved much in the second half from Celtic's perspective. Difficult for them to get any possession. Again, 2-3 passes, balls given away. Midtjylland picks it back up, keeps them under pressure. Again, long throw here.
From Mbabu this time, from the right-hand side into the near post. Scales gets something on it. The referee spotted an infringement by one of the Midtjylland players. And Celtic get the free kick. Engels keen to get moving quickly, plays it forward for Maida. Maida's got there before the keeper, who's well out of his goal. He's right across on the left hand side. He won't be able to get the shot away though, and back there went Bravo to knock the ball out of play. But there's good quick thinking that from Engels and Maida, but unfortunately for Celtic, they could not get the shot away, despite the fact that Olafsson had come well out of his goal. It's going to be 3 changes here for Midtjylland. Junior Bramado, who scored that incredible free kick, overhead kick, I beg your pardon, at Easter Road, is going to be one of the players to come on. Arel Shimshir, who was one of the players as well who caught my eye in those games against Hibernian, is also going to come on as Gogorsa makes way. And Francolino as well is going to come off, having also got his name on the score sheet. So good news for Celtic in the shape of Gogorsa and Francolino making way, but the players who are coming on also highly capable.
They are highly capable, but I'm sure they're delighted to see Gogorsa and Francolino, who is a real threat in that first half, leaving the pitch. Let's see if they can deal with the ones coming on. Samirsha, did you say this Turkish? He'll be quick, technically good player.
Yeah, Shimshir on for Gogorsa on that left-hand side, and Castillo, Danny Castillo, is on for Osorio. So certainly 3 good players going off. Midtjylland perhaps feeling that this game is as good as one, and taking the opportunity to rest some of their top men. But the players that brought on also extremely capable, and so let's see how that affects the game with just over half an hour to play. Still Midtjylland 3, Celtic 0. It's still goalless out in Larnaca between AK and Aberdeen in the Conference League. And Rangers Roma to come, as I mentioned, also in the Europa. Rangers looking for their first points of the campaign, having finished 8th in the league last season. Bottom as things stand. Here come Midtjylland once more, looking for a 4th. Just wide, I think. Yeah, just going to drift wide. That was a big chance. Castillo going through just moments after coming on, breaking between Scales and Trusty, lifted it beyond Schmeichel, but just didn't get the angle right, and it's wide of the far post before Brumado can get a touch on it, and it remains Midtjylland 3, Celtic 0.
Just so simple. The ball from lead to back, just played down the middle, and that was Castillo coming on, and he just runs off Trusty behind Scales, and should have scored really, and Schmeichel, coming out but no chance, gets to the ball first, just flicks it past him, and it goes past the right hand post by inches. But so simple to breach that Celtic defence.
Yeah, he just needed to lift it over Schmeichel, which I guess is easier said than done, but he should have found the finish there. Danny Castillo, perhaps the fact that he's just on the field of play didn't help either, as Ralston complains about the challenge from Castillo. Certainly caught there, and it's a sore one for Ralston, who thumps the ground in frustration and pain. He's absolutely furious there, Anthony Ralston. I think with the fact that perhaps didn't even get the free kick in the end, as Midtjylland build once more from the back through Mbabu. Inside Scales though to win possession back, and then Engels slips out to Tinekti, left hand side, attacking that Midtjylland defensive third. Scales rather gets in a mix up there though, and he's lost it, and here come Midtjylland once more. as Brumado now takes on the charge up against Trusty at the edge of the box. Trusty backpedaling. Brumado onto the left foot, goes for goal. Schmeichel gets down to his left hand side to gather that. Brumado didn't quite catch the shot, but already the substitutes looking to get in on the act here. Midtjylland 3, Celtic 0.
Yeah, again, obviously Scales caught in the ball, giving it away out of position. The ball's then played forward again into space. Brumado takes on Trusty, beats him at ease, and then gets able to get a shot on target. So yeah, again, more chances for Midtjylland, I'm afraid.
Yeah, they haven't been quite as threatening in this second half. No doubt the impetus that brought them the 3 goals in quick succession at the end of the first half has slightly been lost with the half-time interval, but still massively in charge of this game as Schmeichel makes a hash of a clearance, and then McGregor also, as he picked the ball up, gives it straight back to Midtjylland. Celtic are really the architects of their own downfall here this evening. As good as Midtjylland have been, Celtic have been so poor. Mbabu into the box, half clear, picked up by Castillo just outside the penalty area. Back the way it goes to Beck, and out to the left hand side now as Midtjylland look to try and create once more. Beck into the feet there of Şimşir. Here he is, the Turk. Now Brumado, Şimşir once more left hand side. Midtjylland content just to hold on to possession here for a spell in that left flank before Beck steps forward. Şimşir trying to come in off the left hand side. Billings there as well. Back in field to Lee on the halfway line, and then Ehrlich's all too easy for
keeping the ball. That's what I want from Celtic, and that's what I think most of us would be sort of kind of almost confined to Celtic in the past, that's how they played the game, keeping the ball. That's Midtjylland doing it this time. This is Midtjylland from the Danish league. They're not Real Madrid or Barcelona or any of the big teams from England. This is a Danish team keeping the ball off Celtic, just playing around them.
Here is Şimşir left hand side up against Maida, who's had to come back into a defensive position for the moment. Şimşir just nudges it off to Bravo. Bravo back the way to Ehrlich, and then square for Lee just inside his own half, out to the right hand side to Mbabu. Tries to get the better there of Tierney, who sticks the left boot in. Still the ball though with Midtjylland. Back with the goalkeeper Olafsson, out to Lee right hand side. He clips it forward down that right flank. McGregor can't get anything on it. Scales does well though to get it back to McGregor just inside his own half here. 65 played almost. Midtjylland 3, Celtic 0. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra as Trusty almost overruns it. He was just dragged back there. He gets a free kick. He's taken it quickly to McGregor. Forward it goes, but again it's easily cut out by Beck midway inside his own half. He just feeds it out to the left hand side, and Midtjylland will come forward once more through Billing. And now Şimşir takes it on inside of Ralston, goes down, wins a free kick for his side just at the angle of the box, and this is an opportunity.
Yeah, another good opportunity again. You know, Tony Ralston diving into the tackle a little bit, and Şimşir just cutting in the inside and winning this free kick, but it gives them an opportunity again to test Celtic defensively. Ball's just outside the corner of the 18-yard box on the left hand side. This will be bent in.
Yeah, Şimşir's got a terrific right foot with which he will try and curl this in towards goal. Look for maybe a touch on the way through. He scored a great free kick to equalise in the first leg against Hibs, actually, on this ground, after Jamie McGrath had given Hibs the lead. Here is Şimşir, and it's a cross goal, and it's headed wide, and perhaps should have been a fourth goal for Midtjylland. Well, Şimşir looks to the heavens. I think it's again take a touch at all on its way through, perhaps not. It's a terrific delivery, just needed guided. It just goes through the legs of Scales and wide in the end, and Celtic survive, but it's still Midtjylland 3, Celtic 0.
Yeah, you can see exactly what they were doing. They're almost starting in an offside position, 2 or 3 players, and they're blocking the Celtic defenders from going and attacking the ball, and then they're creating that space for a free player to run across them and get a header on the ball, and that's coming off the training field. That's something that Celtic would probably know before they actually come into this game, so they have to find a way to deal with it. Otherwise, they're wide open every time that Midtjylland gets a set piece.
Looks like Rio Hatate is going to be the latest substitute to come on for Celtic, but not before this Midtjylland attack is broken down there as Ralston gets a foot in, then Scales picks up on the edge of his box and plays it to Tierney. Tierney forward, but it's a loose pass from Tierney, and Engels with a foul there on Castillo, and a free kick goes Midtjylland's way. And Celtic have just been loose with their passes as well as so easy to play through. It's just been an abysmal performance package.
You know, they're almost caught in two minds. Do I pass it or do I take a risk? And then the pass invariably is off target, or it's not the right pass, the wrong angle of the pass, and they can't keep the ball. And you know, when they're man marked at that, you've got to be sure, you've got to be confident. And tonight they're not.
Shimshire with a free kick this time, right hand side towards the back post. Lee back across goal. Negren's there, but it's not clear. Still Midtjylland trying to keep the pressure on. Was there another foul at the edge of the box there? The referee says no, it's a throw in to Celtic, but the Midtjylland player has stayed down. It's Castillo again,
but I can't see that. I thought he maybe got nicked as he's passed that ball out. It's just a hand. He was just trying to get across him, Maeda, and he just caught him, but there's nothing to it. I think the referee's absolutely right to make that decision not to give the free kick.
Hatate is going to come on for Benjamin Negren, who's replaced in the midfield.
Yeah.
And 68 and a half minutes played in Denmark between Midtjylland and Celtic, and it's the home side who are in the box seat here, and they will remain, you would imagine, at least on goal difference, at the top of the Europa League table come the close of play, with obviously the 8 o'clock games to come, and in a really good position to qualify for the next phase.
Yeah, well, that gives them 12 points from 4 games, which is a terrific return, I've got to say. And you can see why. They're a decent team. They're strong, they're physical, they're very good on, as we talked about, the set pieces, but they actually can play also. You know, they've just outplayed Celtic tonight, absolutely.
Yeah, they've been way too good for Celtic on this showing, as Engels goes down and gets the free kick in the middle of the park. We're going to get another change here for the home side, as Philip Billing makes way for the closing 20 minutes here. His work is done in the middle of the park. He's helped control the game for the hosts.
Yeah, big strong player, tall, threatened set pieces, we know, but yeah, the manager can afford to rest some of his players now, key players.
It's Bishkov who's come on, and immediately gets involved in the action as Midtjylland come forward looking to add to their first half tally of 3 goals. Babu plays it for Bishkov, right hand side. There's an opportunity there, it wasn't connected with, but still the chance might be there. Bramado crowded out in the end. McGregor gets the challenge in, but Bishkov picks up once more, stands up to the back post, and Celtic eventually able to get it clear. Hatate picks up, back to Ralston, just on his own byline, plays it infield to McGregor. McGregor across the face of his own penalty area to Scales. Celtic surely now absolutely no way back, albeit Midtjylland got 3 quick-fire goals in the first half, but hasn't looked like a Celtic performance that was going to buy you any goals, far less 3, to get back into this game.
No, I don't think that the goalkeeper's had a save to make, has he? So to get those couple of efforts, maybe the first one where it was straight at him, that's about what I would call that a real save. And here we go.
Ralston recovering well there, as it looked like Shimshir was going to evade him, but Shimshir's been gifted the ball back in the middle of the park, but then loses it again as Celtic pick up once again, and it's out on the left hand side to Tenekti looking to get the better of Mbabu. Sliding challenge comes in from Mbabu and manages to play it off. Tenekti, it would appear, to get the throw in for his side. Certainly that's what the officials have indicated. 17.5 minutes left to play at the Herning Arena as Midtjylland hold a comfortable and commanding lead here, 3-0. As Bishkov for the little nutmeg there, and they're enjoying themselves out there, the Danes. Well, they might. 4 wins from 4 they're heading for here in the Europa League as Shimshir feeds it into Bishkov. Bishkov on the edge of the box, tame effort, should have done better. Schmeichel makes a save down to his right, but he knows that was a glorious opportunity. He started it with a little nutmeg back inside his own half and then almost finished it, but tried to give Schmeichel the eyes. Schmeichel wasn't buying it. Remains Midtjylland 3, Celtic 0.
But he got out so easily. The ball's down in their deep in their right back position, right nearly on the corner flag, and they were able to work the ball through without any Celtic player getting a tackle in or anything, and worked it all the way up the pitch to end up with getting a shot on target, a decent space right at front of the goal, about 18 yards out, and Bishkov just didn't quite get contact on the ball, but it was so easy for them to build right through the thirds of the pitch. Celtic was going to make a couple of changes here.
Yeah, Tenekti and Engels are going to be replaced by Bernardo and Balikwisha for the closing stages of the game. Bernardo is barely featured. He started against Braga back at the start of October, but hasn't played at all since then. And this is only his 6th appearance of the season, coming on to replace Arne Engels in the midfield with Balikwisha on for Tenekti on the flank. Celtic now deep in their own territory, try and build something from the back. Castillo in there to put out the fire, but again Celtic trying to work hard to win it back, but everything is falling for the hard-working Midtjylland side. Brumado now for Shimshir, right hand side of the penalty area, almost at the byline, checks back onto the left foot and then leaves it to Mbabu, right hand side. 15 to play, 3-0 Celtic trail. All the goals coming in a 7-minute period in the first half, and Celtic really haven't ever looked like in any danger of troubling that 3-goal lead, as Midtjylland feed the ball out to the left hand side. It's Brumado feeds it forward. It's a poor ball actually. Schmeichel able to pick that one up, and Celtic will try and create something here as Hatate goes back the way to Trusty though, at the edge of his own penalty area, out to Scales forward. Still 0-0 incidentally in Cyprus between AK Larnaca and Aberdeen, and Aberdeen could get a point from that game. It would go down as a good one because Larnaca had been doing well in the Conference League, and certainly be an improvement on their last showing on the road in the Conference League when they went down 6-0 away to AK Athens.
Yeah, an improvement. Would be a great result for them actually, considering that they are away from home.
AK Athens still trailing incidentally to Shamrock Rovers in Greece.
Good team, Shamrock Rovers.
Indeed. Tierney has the throw in. midway inside the Midtjylland half, left hand side as Celtic come forward. Here's it back from Balikwisha. Here's Balikwisha once more, closed down by Mbabu, back away to Scales. Now Tierney once more left hand side, and Balikwisha into Maida, who turns away cleverly. Now he's fed it out to Osman just inside the penalty area, right hand side, goes for goal, but straight at the keeper. But Celtic's best move of the second half.
Yeah, a few passes, which you want, a bit of composure on the ball. Obviously the players coming on, fresher players, and getting to the game quickly by getting the ball down, passing it, combination of passes, and it opens up, and that's what was being crying out for throughout the game. That hasn't happened.
May actually have been Ralston who got the final shot away there.
No, I think Ralston went down the overlap.
I see. A close-up of him on the screen. I was questioning my own eyesight there, but I thought it was Osmond initially. Anyway, Midtjylland survived that. I haven't had to use that expression for them. Certainly they have dominated the game for the most part. Played themselves into trouble there, and Osman trying to flick it through for Maida. Breaks back for Osman just inside the box. Penalty. Celtic have got a penalty. Well, Midtjylland giving the ball away cheaply in the middle of the park, and as they tried to recover, Osman was taken down by Ehrlich, and Celtic, well, maybe they do have a way back into the game. 78 minutes on the clock, and the referee points to the spot.
Well, they've got on the ball in the right areas of the pitch, and there was definitely a penalty. He's just the energy of Osman just going past Ehrlich. He sticks out a leg, sticks out two legs. In fact, the first one he misses him, and the second one he catches him and gives away the penalty. But Celtic won in the ball back. Balikwisha involved, and this gives him an opportunity maybe to get a little bit something back in the game. There's still, what I'm looking at it, maybe about 15 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, probably, including added on time. Certainly, the penalty, as they all are these days, is being checked by VAR, but I'm fairly sure, having looked at the replay, that it will stand. Ehrlich, who gave it away, is still down.
Yeah, it has to be a penalty for me. He's just got caught. Obviously, Osman just knocks the ball through him, and then sort of he tries to block the first one, sticks out a leg, in the second one he does catch Callum Osman, and definitely a penalty.
Well, Ehrlich's getting a bit of treatment here, but Osmond certainly taken down by the left boot there of Ehrlich, who then throws himself to the ground, but not getting any sympathy from the referee. Got the opening goal, first goal for the club, Martin Ehrlich, but he's given away the spot kick, and Celtic, and it's going to be Rio Hattati who will have the opportunity here from the spot to beat Elias Olofsson and perhaps give Celtic a lifeline, which they haven't really looked like getting at any stage prior to this. But Hattati is going to step up here. Well, it might be Callum McGregor, but Hattati taking ownership of the situation from 12 yards. And so the Japanese midfielder up against the Icelandic goalkeeper Elias Olofsson. Can he reduce the arrears to just two? It's Rio Hattati. Up he steps. Right-footed, bottom corner. Celtic have a lifeline with 10 minutes to play, plus added on time. Rio Hattati fires in. I think the keeper might have got a little glove to this as it headed towards the bottom corner, but he couldn't keep it out. And so it's Midtjylland 3, Celtic 1.
Yeah, he's got a good glove to it. It's gone under his hand, actually, gone the right way. There was a nice bit of pace. It was low, it was in the corner, but it doesn't matter. It goes into the back of the net and gives Celtic some sort of hope. If they could get something back fairly quickly again on the back of this, then we might have a game on. But yeah, got to believe in themselves.
Yeah, well, they've got to take inspiration from that. Midtjylland will be kicking themselves because they were guilty of giving the ball away rather cheaply in the middle of the park, and then untidy when it came into their penalty area as well. And so all of a sudden, maybe we've got a game on our hands. 3-1 now, Midtjylland, with 9 minutes plus stoppage time to play out in Denmark, as Mbabu is lining up a long throw in from the right hand side. He's very deep, he's midway inside the Celtic half, but he hoists it into the area. It's flicked on dangerously. That's going to come to Sheamshire, left hand side of the box, closed down by McGregor, looking to find a yard to get the ball back into the middle, but Celtic stand firm, and McGregor brings it clear and feeds it down the right hand side. But Osmond, you'd have to say, he's made a good impact since coming on, winning the penalty there. Had the shot just prior to that. Johnny Kenny, replaced at half time, didn't have a look in really. But Osmond doing his best to bring his side back into the game as Maida heads it forwards. Ehrlich, having given away that penalty, just turns it back to Olofsson, clears over the halfway line. Bramado and Trusty jostle, but Trusty wins the header. McGregor in the middle of the park, under pressure there from Biskov, who's won it from him. McGregor not having his best game in a Celtic jersey. Midtjylland have it just inside their own half. They don't look overly rattled, you would have to say, by the loss of that goal.
No, that third goal was the killer, wasn't it, from Celtic's perspective. You know, if it's 2-0 and you get a goal back, you've got a real chance. But when it's 3, it's a big task on hand.
83 almost played. Midtjylland 3, Celtic 1. As Ralston feeds it forward. It's a good ball for Maida. Maida down the right hand side up to the edge of the box, plays it square. The chance almost there for Balikwisha, but in slides Lee to knock that clear. I'm not sure the ball from Maida was the right choice really. Osman was perhaps the better opportunity in the middle, but nonetheless Celtic do get the corner.
Osman just had to stand still a little bit. He's almost gone in there too. It was a good ball, lovely ball played in, but you can see him. What am I going to do? Am I going to play that ball across? If Osman just stands instead of running into the box, then he could cut it back to him, and I think that would be a better option. But a really good chance again for Celtic.
Yeah, it was good defending from Lee in the end, and Celtic with an opportunity from the corner kick as Midtjylland prepare one more change in the game. There's a player down in the bottom. It looks like Ehrlich is down again. I wonder if it's Ousmane Diaw who might come on for the closing stages. You know, a regular since yes, indeed it is Diaw who is stripped and is going to come on for Ehrlich. He missed the Hibs game in the start of the season with a broken foot, but since coming back in the Europa League playoff second leg against Coups, he's started the vast majority. And Ehrlich, who opened the scoring before giving a penalty away just a few minutes ago, makes way for the Senegalese young centre back, and he's got to just stiffen up that Midtjylland back line, which has been tested just in the last few minutes, and it will be tested here again potentially from the corner kick. 85 almost on the clock as Celtic at the corner kick. Low end, it's a poor ball. Babu goes down as if he was caught there by Maida, and eventually the referee does blow the whistle for a free kick. It wasn't a great delivery from the corner kick, it has to be said. And free kick goes Midtjylland's way, and that is just exactly what they're looking for. Just looking to take the sting out of Celtic as they just get their tails up somewhat from having got the goal back from the penalty spot a few minutes ago. 5 minutes left of normal time plus stoppage time, of which there'll probably be another 4 or 5 minutes you would imagine, and it's still Midtjylland 3, Celtic 1 now. As Tierney plays it forward, Lee back towards his own goal and heads it back to his keeper, gets enough on it. As looks like Osman just pulling up there as he chased that, feeling the left hamstring. It's not good news. Keeper's got away with one there against Balikwisha. He just managed to get the pass off. Osman has gone down at the edge of the box in the meantime.
Yeah, this is going to be a blow for the youngster. He's obviously pulled his hamstring.
Yeah, it looks that way. He's got his head in his hands. Again, it's another one of these ones where I don't know why the referees stop and play. Just for I mean, yes, it's bad news for Callum Osman, but why stop the game for a hamstring strain?
Yeah, well, he's probably in a position where he's going to be in the firmer play if Celtic do get the ball. That's the only thing I can think of. But no, that's a real blow to the young man. You can see he's really distressed from it. You know, he's had a good game at the weekend. He's come in. He's made a bit of an impact since he's come on, and now an injury, and that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, Celtic will be down to 10. They've not got any subs left. Barely got any strikers left to speak of. Anyway, Ian Acho still out injured. Not sure when he's going to be back. But Callum Osman is certainly distressed down on the pitch there, having finally got the opportunity in a Celtic jersey for that to be ended rather cruelly, just as he chased a kind of nothing ball through, and feeling the hamstring there, and he'll have to be, I think, stretchered off. So there will be further time added on at the end of this, but Celtic will have to see the game out with a man down.
Yeah, and it's another big injury blow for Celtic. A young man that was probably making an impact since he's come in. That little bit of pace, energy. He won the penalty by that energy. Now he's gonna miss a period of time, along with all the other injuries that they have, which is really unfortunate.
They're into stoppage time in Cyprus. Aberdeen have just missed a massive opportunity. I think it's Lazetic who's sent one wide. Milanovic actually, who's sent one wide in the dying seconds there from a glorious position. So 0-0 Larnaca against Aberdeen in the conference, 3-1 Midtjylland against Celtic in the closing stages of this Europa League tie. But Callum Osman has been forced off with injury here, and Celtic down to 10 for the closing minutes of this one. Osmond applauded off by the home fans as well as the Celtic fans. No one likes to see a young player go off injured, and hopefully it won't be too long before he has recovered. So Midtjylland with the ball back in their possession, fed forward down the right, Tierney in the way. And there's a high boot there by Bernardo, and I think he's going to get a yellow card for that. It's going to be a free kick to Midtjylland.
Yeah, he's just tried to flick it on, hasn't he? You know, and he doesn't see the player coming in, and he just lifts his boot and just doesn't really catch him. But the referee goes to his pocket and produces the yellow card.
Yeah, it was Mbabu was the player closing him down. Bernardo into the book for catching him, and Midtjylland will have a free kick to try and restore their 3-goal lead. McGregor gets it clear, takes a dunt to the head in doing so. Play continues though, and Mbabu to Giao and out to the right hand side for Biškov. Biškov from midway point inside the Celtic half fires it towards the far post. Maida's there to knock it out of play. Last few seconds of the 90 minutes before we get the signal as to how much will be added on. Could be easily 6 or 7 minutes after the Osman injury.
Yeah,
added to.
I agree.
Other
You go for 6 or 7?
8 I'll go for.
You go for 8. He's got it.
6. I thought that was an 8. I actually only said 8 when I saw the board, but I actually thought it said 8. But it is in fact 6. So there we are. 6 minutes for Celtic to try and find 2 goals. Breaks to Mbabu though at the edge of the Celtic area, and it's fired in from the right hand side and pushed behind. It was Cho who went for goal. The angle was against him, but Schmeichel had to look lively at his near post to push that behind.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever going to score from there unless he's knocked it across the goalkeeper, but Schmeichel just taking no chance, just beating it away for the corner. It was the pace and power that he had to deal with.
Yeah, plenty of power on the shot, but Schmeichel equal to it. Corner kicked in on the right hand side for Midtjylland. 3-1 they lead as we enter those 6 minutes of added on time. Fire to the back post. Beck gets his head to it, just able to help it on and out to Shimshir out on the left hand side away from Ralston, but Scales gets the header clear only as far as Mbabu. Giao's still up there, and now it's Biškov, right hand side of the box, teases it back in, flicked on. Beck's trying to make something of it. It's cleared away by the Celtic defence up towards Balikwisha with his back to goal, being forced backwards, but he's been fouled, and Celtic will have the free kick just outside their own box A minute and a bit of stoppage time played. Still Midtjylland 3, Celtic 1. It looks like, as we've thought, the game is beyond Celtic, despite getting that goal back from the penalty spot in the second period. They haven't been able to fashion too many other opportunities.
No,
Aberdeen are finished 0-0. That's a creditable scoreline out in Larnaca for them, as they get a point on the board in the Conference League. And Midtjylland will have a free kick just on the edge of the Celtic box as Sheemshire is deemed to have been fouled, and a chance for them to add a fourth goal here in stoppage time.
Yeah, whatever chance Celtic had of getting into the game, obviously gone down to 10 men now. It's totally gone from them, and just as long as they can not allow this game to go to away into a situation where it becomes 4, they've got to defend this free kick now. It's going to be bent in again.
Yeah, from the left-hand side, it's Sheemshire, lifts it to the back post. Oh, Brimado's made a real mess of that. It was a free header at the back post. He seemed to be caught in two minds, and in the end made absolutely nothing of it other than knocking it behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, clear header, free at the back. He's just got his timing wrong. He's just jumped too early and the ball's dropped down in front of him.
Celtic looking to play out, but they've given it away to Mbabu. Now it's Brimado inside the area. Brimado tries to play it through the legs of Scales, fails to do so, and Celtic now clear over the halfway line. Balikwisha will chase this one. Beck goes down on the ground and wins the free kick, seemingly fouled in the referee's view, at least by Balikwisha, as he gave chase there. Midtjylland haven't been as effective in the second half, but I guess you could say, Packy, that their real work was done in the first period. Yeah, and they still had a couple of big chances in the second half also, but no, the work was done, and they looked never really in threat. From Celtic. Yes, Celtic had a wee 5-minute spell where they got back into the game. They got their penalty. There were a little bit more energy from the players who came on the pitch, but overall it's been a really, really disappointing display from Celtic. Not really knowing what to do, not getting on the ball, not passing it, not almost afraid to get on the ball at times, and then of course the defensive frailties in that first half was glaring. Maida trying to turn away from his marker, but they're doubling up on him, and now he's committed a foul himself, and he's going to pick up a yellow card for doing so. It's always frustration from Maida, isn't it? He goes after the ball, he's sort of kicks, he tries to wrap his foot around the defender and makes no contact with the ball, and ends up in the referee's book. Yellow card then for Dyson Maida in the closing minutes of this game. We've got about 90 seconds to play. That will be extended slightly because I think it's Mads Beck who's gone down over on that far side, so he'll need a bit of treatment here. But Midtjylland have been, for the most part, highly impressive, deserving of their victory, and they will go on to 12 points from 4 games, and certainly they will qualify in some shape or form, but they're looking good to make that top 8 to get straight into the last 16 automatically without the need of a playoff. Yeah, listen, they're not a team that you would catch your eye with all this fabulous, fantastic play, passing the ball. They're effective, they're strong, they will play when they're allowed to play, but they put that ball forward into areas. They have all their set pieces, they've got big strong players, and they're very, very comfortable in the way that they actually go about their game, and that from that, whether they'll be there at the end up when this is up, but they have got 12 points, which is a fantastic return in this competition, so the pressure's right off them now. They can enjoy the rest of the game. Celtic's under severe pressure. Yeah, well, 10 points was enough for, I think, 3 teams to progress to the playoff stage last season, but a couple missed out on 10 points as well. So Celtic sitting on 4 after 4 games, so they need 6 points at least from their last 4 games, you would imagine, if last season's anything to go by. They have a chance against, I think, Utrecht, isn't it? There's the last game. That's the last game at home. They've got Feyenoord away next at the end of this month, then Roma at home, Bologna away, and Utrecht hope to finish off.
You would like to think Bologna would be the one that they might target to get 3 points, and Utrecht, of course, at home. But Bologna going to Italy is not easy either. You know what I mean? And at Roma, they might get an energy with the crowd. That's it.
Full time, and Midtjylland have thoroughly deserved their victory. 3 goals up by half time. All the goals came in a 7-minute spell. 34 minutes in, Gogorza created for Ehrlich to head past Kasper Schmeichel. A minute later, Gogorza himself evaded a couple of Celtic players at the edge of the box before curling the shot beyond Schmeichel. And then 5 minutes before the interval, Francolino picked up on a loose ball inside the area before firing beyond Schmeichel in the Celtic goal to give Midtjylland the 3-0 half-time lead. They could have added to that advantage in the second half, although they weren't quite as dominant, but nonetheless they passed up some good opportunities. But it was Celtic who did get on the score sheet late in the second half after Callum Osman had come on as a half-time substitute. He had an effort saved before a minute later winning a penalty for a foul by Ehrlich, and up stepped Rio Hatate to convert from the spot to make it 3-1. Unfortunately, Osmond was then lost to injury and Celtic went down to 10 men in the closing stages, but really the game was lost in the first period, so Celtic remain on 4 points. Midtjylland clear at the top for the moment on 12 points from 4 games. It finishes in Denmark. Midtjylland 3, Celtic 1.